Okay, let's hop back on Roach here. Come on, Roach. And now let's actually reactivate the Wine Wars stuff. That's gonna be this. It's now up here. And I believe this is, yeah, this will be the last one. Or at least the Fermentino. But then on a... What is that? Is that a boar? It's just a random boar. It's probably not interesting enough for us to take that out. But, yeah, so then obviously we have the other place where we learned that supposedly the third party that's trying to sabotage both of the orchard is set up shop. Or at least we'll learn more about them. And that one was a significantly higher level, or at least several levels higher. So we're probably going to wait a little bit before we do that. Let's see.
Whoa there.
I mean, this is not the place we're looking for per se, but there are some people here. Looks like it's just a little lumber camp. Although there's nothing on our map that would even suggest that this place exists. So I was a little surprised to see it. But it has a name. A little blade here. Oh! And there's a quest here. Okay.
I've sweat dripping down my bum.
I would kind of like to loot the stuff first. Hopefully that can wait just a second. I'd like to wrap this spot up and then check that out. Ideally. I think that's just about everything here. Now let's go investigate.
My hand shakes so bad. I cannot hold my
So what is this? Looks like there's a dog trying to get something up in a tree. Let's save. Maybe a wolf? That appears to be a wolf. It's chilling next to a tree. Woodcutter Jacob. It's a large dog you got there. What? Has a name. More Holt. Are you talking to the tree? It sounds like you're bearing someone.
Always chat with him before you chop him down.
3-5-4 fam, a bleating jester has come. I'll set my hound on you, you bum rag.
Whoa there. Just curious why you were talking to a tree. But all in all, not my concern.
Wait, hold now. My denter's up true, for scoundrels come and laugh at me. But you're... well, just what the demon are you?
A witcher. Name's Geralt. So, folk laugh at you because...
Hold up. A witcher, you say? Like in Luis Herrera's Tales and Fables. Luckier than a green bleeding leprechaun.
What is this guy's deal?
Not a soul around believes this tree is Daphne, the cursed lady of legend. But you could lift the curse.
What, it's like a children's tale? Did someone turn into this tree?
Bit too old to believe in bedtime stories, aren't you?
This is the quest you're thinking of? Okay.
Busted witcher? How old I am, that is none of your poking concern.
Fair point. Not my business what you believe either.
Ha! I'm content we see eye to eye.
Okay, but you say the tree at least may theoretically actually be a cursed girl. And what makes you say that? Also, why is there an axe stuck in the tree if you think it's a cursed girl? You know, presumably that means you basically just threw an axe or hit someone with an axe. You would think you wouldn't do that.
There's a girl cursed inside the tree.
Well, I came out with my dog Moholt to cut her down. Axe in hand, a broad swing I took. the edge burrow deep in her trunk, and bum-botch me if blood didn't spurt forth.
Oh. Blood in the tree.
My jaw dropped in the dirt. But right then I knew. Every jot of it in the tale of Daphne, Gareth, and the Witch of Lynxcrag.
Don't tell me. From Herrera's Tales and Fables.
You porking bet. 2nd edition. Ementit in octavo.
Okay.
I know those tales by heart. My nan read them to put me to sleep.
Guess she read it cover to cover, colophon included.
Okay. It does seem like you have a thing for fairy tales. This is true.
Got me curious, gotta admit. You really think the old tales are true?
Taking the weepy, are you? Do you think me balmy?
No, it's just these are dark, grim times. No room for knights pure of heart or happily ever afters. So I don't often run into folk like you.
Yes, true, the times are crud pie. But I see this as all the more reason to remember the tales. My gran would say, if you know not what to do, think to the chessboard knight and noble Alondra, and the path they would choose. She schooled me so thorough in it, I could not do otherwise, even if I wished to.
Okay. Let us check this tree out. Yeah, we see the red on the side there. So, seems as if you have a point.
Let me take a look at the tree.
Careful now.
A Knight's Tales. Okay. So, I mean, most obvious. You're screaming. And also, there's obviously this red thing
Actually
here.
does bleed. Looks like human blood too. And the bark resembles hypertrophic scars in places. Medallions humming like crazy. Intense magic at work here.
Didn't we hear somewhere someone talking about how there was some being that could turn people's skin into like bark? And well, it does appear to be what we're seeing here. Let's actually activate this quest. What level is that, a curiosity? What was it? What was the name of it? Huh? What was the name of it? Night for Hire? No. No. Knight's Tales. Yes, there's in theory more to examine about this bleeding tree. In a logger's clearing near the village of Fox Hollow, Geralt happened upon a lumberjack named Jacob. The man claimed to have recently discovered an enchanted tree that seemed straight out of Herrera's Tales. He believed a young woman was imprisoned in the tree and desperately wished to free her. Though not one to believe fables and similar tales, Geralt nonetheless had to admit the tree was peculiar. For cut with an axe head, it seeped not sap, but human blood. Okay. Anything else?
Actually does bleed.
I mean, we got the bleeding, yes,
Looks like
but
human blood too.
maybe there's something like on the ground here?
Resembles hypertrophic scars in places. Medallions humming like crazy. Intense
Sis.
magic at work here. Logger was making good time. Strange though. Willow's isolated. No other trees near it.
Alright. Sure. I see something there? Don't think so. What else? What else? I mean, obviously it still like has the red circle around it. Just from the sound. Oh, there's something. More blood?
Blood. Seeped from the direction of the tree, judging by the shape of the stain.
Okay, now we just chat. I mean, it seems like he has a point. I mean, the blood, for sure, and then just how this tree appears to be oddly positioned.
And did you look at the tree close?
Actually does bleed. Pretty incredible. Looks wondrous.
Wondrous is probably not the word I would
Say
use.
So,
Say.
My help doesn't come free, you know.
you speak to a lowly woodcutter. No stench of coin about me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anything, you know, compared to some of the nobles we've run into previously, probably not gonna have much in the way of monies.
Agreed. I will pay as soon as the young mate is free.
Okay. Into it?
Willing to help, but first I gotta figure out where to start.
No need. I know it all.
Huh?
Miss Daphne and Sir Gareth shared a terrible and fearsome love for each other. Yet to prove himself worthy of her hint, Gareth was to face the Witch of Link's Crag. Before Sir Gareth set off for the hill, Miss Daphne gave him her kerchief, a token of her favor.
Let me guess, he never returned.
He did not. She stood here day upon day, night upon night, trying to spy him.
Till she sprouted roots and turned into a tree? Wonder why.
I will fecking tell you why.
Okay.
The moment when
Slow down.
Gareth returns, kerchief in hand, that is the power of love, the power of longing. So you must scale Link's Crag. Search there for a means to free Daphne. I will give you my book of tales to refer to. And good luck, Witcher.
Okay. Is that the castle we were just in? Daphne's Wraith is added to our piece here. Well, that's kind of telling. It does perhaps suggest what direction this is going to go in. If you're giving us an entry on her Wraith. Spectre Royal, during his stay in Tucson, Geralt became involved with a curious case of gynodendromorphy. That is to say, a woman who had been turned into a tree. When one cut into this tree's bark, it bled, and when the wind blew through the leaves, one could hear muffled sobs. Geralt investigated the matter and learned magic, or possibly curse, was responsible for the transformation, and it surely had something to do with a certain sad episode from the woman's past. Low of Daphne's life, a knight-errant, had gone to the Witch of Link's Crag and never returned, leaving her to wait for him forever, filled with sadness and longing. There's several ways this quest can go okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I would hope that we would not just resort to fighting a wraith of this person, because, you know, at that rate, why not just chop down the tree? Like, if your objective is to kill this person or the spirit of this person, then you just chop down the tree and you don't need us to do that. But, you know, our objective, I would think, would be, or our real goal would be to dispel the curse, and in doing so, I mean, I don't know if this woman is actually, like, technically living at this point, but, okay, I think, so yeah, I don't know what is exactly on the table in terms of potential solutions, but I think what we should do now is, I think we should head to this question mark, finish this up, because that's the last one for the second of the wine orchards, and then once we've done that, maybe we'll fast travel or just walk over to this one while we're in the area. Something like that. Or, I mean, we do have a few things now that are suddenly things we can do, like heading back to the bank is not a bad idea now that it's been a week. And we are encumbered, so being able to sell some stuff is, of course, something we should try to do soon. But one step at a time here. Let's at least start with this. Oh, definitely read the book he gave us. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. Let's see, can we go here? With something fables. It was also green, which may or may not help us here. Or it might still be easier to go the other page. to find it. Let's... Oh, nope. It was a green book. It was not the green book. Let's head over to... We're back to... inventory. Go... here. Should be a green book that is not grayed out yet. There it is. That's a little easier. Okay. Sir Gareth and Miss Daphne loved each other so much it hurt. To win the approval of his father, or future father-in-law, Gareth had to perform 7 challenges. 7th was the hardest. Gareth had to go to Lynx Crag, find the witch who lives there, and convince her to lift the drought that had plagued the whole land. Everyone, including Daphne, pleaded with Gareth to humble himself before the witch. You see, the witch from Lynx Crag was spiteful and headstrong, even for a witch, and only an act of true humility could break her icy heart. This sounds like, if we are to go to see this witch, would be an opportunity to prove one of those feats, or one of the, knightly chivalric virtues, but I don't think, or one we still have left is wisdom, and this doesn't sound like a wisdom thing. Gareth, however, had no intention of bending his knee before a witch. Instead, he planned to force her to lift the curse. Nobody knows what happened on Lynx Crag, but Gareth never returned to his beloved. Daphne stood on the top of the hill and looked for him day and night. Finally, she turned into a tree so that she might live to see the return of her knight. Yeah, might live to see the return of her knight. Such was the strength of her longing and the power of her love. So, I don't know if that means she would live to, quote-unquote, see him as a tree, or if, in theory, if we can bring him back, then she can still transform from a tree back into a human and be alive and well, and not a wraith. Because that would seem like the ideal outcome, I would think. Reunite them, if, in fact, he's not dead, although it does sound like, strong suggestions that he may be. Whoa! Arch spores, which they always come up very loud. I just wish they weren't quite as loud and bam when they do that, because yeah, it is kind of startling. Let's throw back on Golden Oriole, because we took that off to put on Black Blood when we started finding that out previously, and we could use some Golden Oriole right about now. Black Blood, no longer terribly relevant. And we're also looking for a Cursed Oil. I missed what the percentage of our sword is looking like right now. 76 is probably good enough. Okay, now we are also encumbered, which is going to make this perhaps a bit more difficult. Roach, I'm sorry for parking you over there. That's probably not the nicest thing for us to do. Those are all going to blow up in our face, aren't they? It's an abandoned site. You don't say. Carol, I would love you to actually hit the real Archboard. Is dead? Might be dead. Now there's this one, though. I think it is actually faster for us to go this way rather than walking, because we're encumbered. We'll get you there. Just don't move. There we go. Alright, now that was the last of the Wine Wars related things for that, or not orchard, vineyard. Are there any people of note for us to speak with here, or is this just all generic villagers, because it seems like it may be? I think so. Man, tons of junk we're picking up here. Gonna have a lot of that to sell once we do make it back to town.
Could ever use a nap.
Just make sure you double check that tree real quick. Make sure there's no blood coming out of it before you chop it anymore. Excuse me, that chest had beer in it. That is inexcusable. We only drink wine here. Thank you very much. Get out of here, Nordling. Alright, let's loot the actual Archspore, though.
You could make yourself useful.
And is that just about everything here? It maybe. Okay. Let's head back. And so we could head over to that place where we just go to, yeah, so that's the third Wine Wars location, but as I was saying before, I think we might wait on that one a little bit because it's comparatively a much higher level than some of the other quests we have remaining here. And A Knight's Tales is not the lowest quest we have right now, but it's in the ballpark. Go to Link's Crag. So Jacob proved a true expert on tales. Lumberjack readily explained to Geralt that the woman enchanted in the tree was Daphne, transformed out of great longing due to her deep love for the knight Gareth, whose return she waited. Gareth had gone off to scale Link's Crag, atop which he was to find the witch who dwelled there. He was to force her to lift the drought that plagued the land. Alas, the knight had not returned, and the tale from which the logger drew his knowledge said nothing about what had befallen the knight. If there was any answer to the mystery, if it could only be found, it could only be found on Link's Crag. Did I just activate that, or I did not activate that? I read it, but I did not activate it. So it's up near Fox Hollow. Don't remember if this has a tavern, right? Where we could sell some of our junk. Isn't that what we sold to them previously? The Tavern Keeper? Because at this point, I would like to be unencumbered soon. I mean, we could... maybe... ride with Roach over there, see how much we can sell of our junk to make a little more room, and then head over. Maybe that's the play. And we are now heading towards an area that we have already been to, so I'm not as concerned.
Hey there.
Think about missing other things, although there's clearly something over here. Although that might have been given the red, that makes me think that might be a Witcher contract enemy. Because it's something quest related. And of course we don't want to fight a Witcher contract boss if we haven't negotiated the price yet. Let's visit the last place on the notice board. Like over here, get the notice board basically. Presumably this has a fast travel spot, I would imagine. Probably. Just about every place with a notice board does. Okay, I think I want to save and at least see what this is. I don't think we're going to want to fight it. But out of curiosity... Oh, is that the tree? Oh, that's the tree. And the sound of that animal was the huge wolf that I was talking about previously. Okay. Never mind. False alarm. And yes, like we were saying before, we would ideally avoid fighting the wraith that apparently could potentially come out of that tree. We'd like for it not to come to that. Also, that's the opposite direction of the new marker that we just made for the other place where we're hoping to find a fast travel spot. I imagine there will be. It's probably the actual estate. Actual vineyard? Yeah. No, we should stay on Roach. least until we actually get inside. I would think.
Let's go.
This exact place is a little new to us. Though we've already helped them, we have not yet been to the vineyard proper. Or at least the central area of said vineyard.
Come on, Roach.
Okay.
Slow now. Whoa.
So, looking for potentially a few things. Fast travel spot, merchants, and potentially Matilda, although don't know if we want to wait to talk to her and the other dude until we also investigate the third spot in order to be able to definitively say, hey, it was not your wine-making rival, it was this random other person who was sabotaging both of you for reasons that are currently unknown to us. I swear, diddler and diddly are their favorite words. Everyone in Tucson. They're at the auction now? Okay. They're not going to be here anyway.
Kit, go, go.
Okay, the actual notice board is up here. Here's the fast travel spot. Good. CASTEL RAVELLO Vineyard?
Faster.
That's a different name. Is this an entirely different estate that happens to... Or is this the actual estate for the vineyard? Like, are they owned by the same family, or is this a different group of people? Because obviously they're right next to each other, and it would appear as though the estate is on the vineyard. Organizing an expedition. Anyone who desires glory and fame is invited to join me at the Grand Place on the 17th of the current month. I plan to set out in good company in search of adventure. We are sure to encounter many damsels in distress and have ample opportunity to help the oppressed. Tirmand de Briard. Really, completely different estate vineyard. It looks like it's right next to it, which is strange. Let's see. Storyteller. I tell fairy tales. For a modest fee, I'll visit your home and tell a story about anything you request. I know how to amuse children, but I can also spin yarns to entertain adults. Invite me, and you shall see listening to a good story can make your life's hardships easier to bear. Arcadius. Vermentino wine. Easy drinking, anytime. Hey, it's got a ring to it. Have a taste for fine vintages, but cannot afford to lose your clarity of mind. Try wine from the Vermentino vineyard. You can down a whole cask and suffer no hangover the next morning. The secret? High percentage, in fact. It's nearly 100% of water in our wines. Excuse me. Drink Vermentino and join us in our efforts to promote sobriety among the citizens of Tucson. I am surprised. I mean, I guess I don't really know enough about winemaking to know. I mean, like, it's not like you add, well, the fermentation of the grapes is what gets the alcohol, right? Because it's what? It's basically the grapes decomposing without oxygen that releases it. So it's not like you're adding or removing alcohol normally. It's just, you know, it's a natural process that happens as long as there's no oxygen. So I don't know how you're doing it with water instead. But again, this is coming from an ignorant non-wine drinker. So what do I know? Beware of monsters. Monsters known as Bargas, yes, we've seen a few of them, have been spotted near the cemetery. All vineyard workers are thus advised to depart for home before dusk, preferably in groups. It is also recommended they choose routes which bypass the cemetery. Failure to adhere to these safety precautions could lead to serious consequences, including but not limited to mental trauma, crippling injury, and being torn apart and devoured. Fantastic. Ladies, keep an eye on your men. Consider yourselves warned. At the top of Link's Crag dwells a witch who muddles with menfolk's minds. Okay, yeah, this is the witch that we are thinking of talking to soon. I don't know what sorcery the trollop uses, but ever since my husband visited her, he's changed beyond recognition. Beware the witch of Link's Crag, a concerned wife. Now, previously, when we've encountered quote-unquote witches, it has tended to have been sorceresses that we knew. Like, Kira in particular comes to mind, fell under that category. I mean, there are probably people who called Yennefer and Triss witches as well. Probably all the witch hunters. Yeah. So is it actually going to be this evil, witch, or is this just going to be some relatively neutral sorceress who gets, blamed for being this evildoer because she can perform magic? We'll see. Be warned. Beware Cutterin Manor. We've also heard of that. Don't even go close. A kind stranger. Okay, so that gives us more undiscovered locations, but no explicit quests. Let's see, do we have more question marks around here? Possibly a few more up in this area. Or maybe even down to the west of Beauclair? Not entirely sure where they might have shown up, but yeah, there are a lot of question marks in this general area. Just seems like a scam where you water down the wine. That might also be it. Okay, now this estate here does look significant. Presumably there are some things for us to do here. Other than lighting that fire. But come on, baby.
Saying you're the Duke of this, the Duke of that, you're the Duke of Tonk.
What on earth did you just say? Yeah, also I was interested to see the Castle Ravellero vineyard is its own thing. I guess it's like, it's actually the vineyard that's sort of... Is that technically closer to us than the Vermentino one? It's like, is that one up here, and then Ravellero is here? I assume it's a Y sound for double L, as if it's in Spanish, but maybe not. But, and then Coronada's here. We actually don't have a fast travel spot for the other vineyard at the moment, strangely enough. A little strange, yeah. Here now we've already done all of the things to help bring that vineyard back to working order, and yet apparently none of the places we went to are technically part of the, well, I mean, they're part of the vineyard, but they're not the primary part of the vineyard. I'd thought this was going to be it, but apparently not. But can we actually do anything here? The yellow eyes, that one? Ah, okay, true. When we talked to that guy, he teleported us back here. That is correct. I suppose that must mean that is technically the primary location. Wasn't sure if that was, like, just one or a couple of dudes who were in the general area, kind of on the outskirts of the primary section, and this was the primary section, or if it was, actually the full thing. There is an herbalist here, for whatever that's worth, and I would say not worth nearly as much as a blacksmith or armorer right now, because we'd very much like to sell some things to one of those guys, so we can not be encumbered. He says this, he picks up more junk that is continuing to weigh him down. Look, I know, okay? I understand. I understand that that's why that's happening, but we'll get there eventually. We'll find someone to sell stuff to. Not too concerned. I'm more just interested to see what is this place all about, because I feel like we don't really have an answer yet.
A job is like a lady. You can always get a new one.
Okay. That's a strange thing to say. Lots of bee sounds. So, didn't see any hives, at least not initially. We go in here. I wonder if maybe we'll end up here on a future occasion for another quest. It feels like that might be the case, because this place looks really big and significant. But at the moment, there's not really anything that we particularly need to do here.
Tired for some reason.
And there's nothing that was directing us here, specifically. Which just feels a little strange right now, but I'm guessing that's because we're just a little
Unbelievable.
early for stopping by. Maybe that's why. Ooh, what is this, though? Oh, we already know about him here. That's old news. That's like totally the base game. It's not even like Hearts of Stone territory. That's like the base game. Seriously, come on. You gotta do a little bit better than that to give us something new.
That's it, Roach.
Yeah, let's just hop on Roach to make this navigation a little bit more palatable. Can we go in here?
Make all those wenches at Coronata birth their babes the bum way.
Whoa!
Oh. Well, apparently you don't like Coronata either. I wonder... I mean, I know the place where we're investigating the other third party is very far away from here. But I do wonder if maybe this vineyard is the force behind that. Oh. Okay, well, we're obviously going to go down there at some point, right? If we were theorizing previously that we were going to come down here on a future occasion, and I think that just about confirms it.
Something's in the wind.
Might come back later. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely the strong sense I'm getting.
Not so fast, Roach.
Let's just take a second to try to sell some stuff to this merchant. Not this merchant. The merchant actually in the next building over. We will instead continue to accumulate more trash. Ooh, and potentially climb this ladder. To accumulate more trash. If anything. Don't think we can hop over that? We're like going for the window? At the moment, I don't see a reason for going up here other than us potentially falling to our death right now. There we go, okay. Fortunately, did manage to still get on the ladder. Otherwise, I would have been a little concerned. A little concerned that we would drop down there. Herbalist
And if I were to put up my rifle, certainly.
is here.
You can always get a new one.
Hello.
Welcome, Wanderer. In need of herbs, perhaps? Wort for a sore stomach, or...
Prefer willow bark or iris root for stomach aches.
That's true.
Wort can cause dizziness, nausea.
Apparently.
Forgive me. It's just that you do not have the look of one familiar with herbs.
What
Excuse
looks
me.
that? And looks deceive anyway. Me, I'm not out for common weeds that grow in any meadow. Need rare ingredients. Can you help me out, or should I move on?
You must judge for yourself.
I mean, that was a pretty pretentious way of saying that, Harold. But, didn't mean any
Meant no
offense.
offense.
And I took none. I should be the one to apologize for judging by appearance alone. Tell me, your knowledge, how did you gain it? From an herbalist living nearby?
No, from somewhere a long way off. Kaer Morhen, northern Kedwin.
Harold, you're not supposed to say where it is.
That's the continent's other end. What are you doing in Toussaint?
Same thing I do anywhere. Killing monsters.
Okay, let's see what we can
Right.
sell
Show me
to
what
you,
you got.
really. You don't have a lot of money, so that's going to be tough. But we will see if we can sell you any of the junk we've been accumulating. Except the answer is no. Not even furs. I did not remember that you wouldn't even buy furs from us. In which case, yeah, this is not really going to be all that helpful for us, other than just dumping things we have over 100 of, like the Genadia petals, which presumably we have another stack of somewhere. Probably. Or Banner Brains. Yeah. Let's dump one of our 299 Dwarven Spirits, maybe? Stack of those. Actually, it's a lot more where that came from. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is probably still the most common item for us to loot. We can also play you at Gwent, which might be worth doing. I mean, we're over here. Again, like, theoretically, if we're going to come back here to Futurecation, then we could play you then, but we're here now. I suppose there's a chance that means that you're actually quite good. If it's sort of like, you know, if this is supposed to be one of the last areas we go to, and therefore, you know, everything here is, like, high level, and the Gwent players are the best Gwent players, and that could be tough, but I would like to believe that we still stand a chance against you. And so, yeah, we'll still go all in.
Wouldn't happen to play Gwent, would you?
Mm-hmm.
Horsetail, nature's bounty.
Okay. So, what if... So last time we did Scoia'tael. Northern Realms, Nilfgaard, monsters. I think we did monsters and Skellige most recently. I think it's either Nilfgaard or Northern Realms, which has been longest since we last used. I think. Just trying to see if there are any new cards for Nilfgaard that we've not yet included. But I'm not sure there are. I think we've added everything new there. Whereas Northern Realms, not yet added Olgierd. Northern Realms, really. Or the Gaunters. We might have deliberately excluded Olgierd, actually. Because we're focusing so much on Siege. That might have been deliberate, yeah. We do have a little bit going on in range. Yeah, but almost everything else is just heroes and spies. And by almost everything else, I mean everything else. Is either a hero or a spy. Or medic. But, well, I mean, again, that's Siege Row. So, yeah, our non-hero, non-spy units are all in the Siege Row. Outside of these guys. So I think that does limit Olgierd's value a lot. Let's try it out. I think we both need practice with Skellige, though. That is a good point. We should make a point of optimize our Skellige deck. Because, yeah, we basically have, like, multiple different archetypes, if you will, in our current Skellige deck. It's like, basically we need to make up our mind. Are we going for the Marjoram Berserkers? Are we going for Tight Bond? Are we going for Muster? We have all the above, and it's just kind of a mess, and it means that, you know, you have a low likelihood of getting all the things that you need to pull off those combos, and a high likelihood of getting just one or two and not being able to fully accomplish them. Okay, this is a very siege-heavy hand here. So that means leader ability is going to be pretty important, but let's give it a shot. Okay, they go first. Okay, weak type bond, not too concerned. Let's go cow first. And their leader ability, what, they look at cards from our hand? Is that what that one was? It's been a while since we had an opponent that did that, but I remember there was a long period of time where it seemed like every opponent had that ability, and we were just asking ourselves, what are they doing with it? How does that affect what the AI does? Don't know if it does anything. Okay, we don't have any reason not to use you. No musters or anything. Got Dragon is one other card that's a non-hero. It is not in the Siege row. And, well, if you do try to use your type bonds, then eventually Dragon will work there. Well, but not yet. So I think let's put down you, Natalis. Because at least at the moment, single-handedly, you're more than our opponent has out. Frangilla Vigo, you don't say. Okay. I mean, the problem here is we have so many siege units, but we want to try to save them all for the same round and then use our leader ability to double them all. So we don't want to have to play any in this round, ideally. Though we can bring one back with Yennefer because she's a medic, so I suppose we shouldn't be too concerned about that, at least. Obviously, the Catapult is our best one. We play the Catapult to get Scorch. We'd lose it in this round because it would be the highest non-hero unit. Whereas if we play one of the 6 strength ones, then it would be tied with Frangilla Vigo. That would presumably prevent or make them not want to Scorch us. They're winning by 1, which is frustrating. They have some pretty weak units here. I feel like we might be able to sneak by with just a 6. I mean, again, if we're going to bring it back with Yennefer, then it doesn't really matter much. It's just, I'd like to save Yennefer for round 3, and that way we get more value out of bringing back an additional unit in round 3 rather than doing that in round 1 here. Or round 2 or round 3, I guess. Until we go for it in round 2. But you do have over 10 strength now in the melee row, but it would only get rid of you. Only 3 strength, which is not a lot. I was kind of hoping that you would play more of your type bonds so that you get more of them out there. They would have the same strength, and therefore we could destroy them all with the dragon simultaneously. That was the greedy hope, at least. Let's throw down. Sure, we'll go with one of the big ones. They have more heroes, okay. And that means they did play for more points than us in that turn. I mean, we would really like to win this round and like to win this round soon so that we can save other siege units from round 3. So, give me Dragon. Might even Dragon and then follow up with a decoy after that to bring it back, because we'd like to have that ability on hand to, well, destroy cards in their melee row. So, yeah, because otherwise we're playing more siege units and we're not going to be able to bring back multiple of them from our graveyard, only one at a time, or only one period from Yennefer. So I think we do this. It's in total a 10-point play. We get 7, they lose 3, which is something. It's equal to the play they just made. Okay, I mean, we could decoy just to do an edit undo here and get a card back, and then we'd have pretty significant card advantage. But I mean, that would be, yeah, because Yennefer's not the right play here. Otherwise, we're talking about playing more siege units, which is really not what we want to do here. We're trying to optimize round 3, although at this point, we're both playing so many cards that you could make the case, I mean, it's not going to be much of a round 3 anymore. It's going to be awfully short, and so not much to optimize. Maybe that is the case. I think given how we can at least take the lead with playing one of these, let's do it, and let's see if they pass here and just give us round 1, because that'd be great if they did. Cynthia's not big, but it is just barely enough. Yeah. Don't like that. I mean, so now we need to ask ourselves, how confident are we in a short round 2 or round 3? And we do have the carryover value from the cow, so that's almost like having an additional card for round 2. Then, A medic is basically worth 2 cards, because we'll get the 7 strength from Yen, and then the strength from whatever card she brings back, likely the 8 strength catapult. So, if it does turn out being a short round, then we have some pretty efficient cards. I think we're actually okay in that situation, so I think we're okay continuing to go here. And eventually, yeah, they're gonna just say there's only so many cards that they can play before it just no longer works for them. So we take round 1, we draw a card, so we're Northern Realms, and we get the value out of the Bovine Protection Force. Get a spy as well, okay. Yeah, I think this will definitely pay off for us. Let's see. I think what we do is... let's go with a low siege unit here. That way, if they do Scorch, we remove the Bovine Protector, which is not a huge deal, because we're not going to end up doubling him, and now he gets Scorched. Or, not Scorched, but Nerfed. Okay, so... I think it's actually best to Yennefer into the catapult, because then if they have Scorch, we lose 8 strength, rather than if we play this, then we lose 12, because we'll lose both the catapults. Go here, and then here. And they have a medic. What do they bring back, though? Fringe ability. I mean, it's not terribly concerning. So they have 1 card left. Now this should be safe to play our other 6 strength siege unit, because it's not going to be the one that gets Scorched. They have another melee nerf, which does nothing in this situation. Okay, so now we'll proceed to BM a little bit here. We'll play our spy, which will only be 1 strength, because they conveniently nerfed the melee row. Another hero. Gets the catapults to double each other. Then, you know, we'll lead your ability. I mean, we could decoy to remove and replay somebody. It'd be helpful if we had a non-hero medic to get additional value out of that, but it doesn't really do anything for us here, so we'll just take the victory. Who needs round 3 anyway? Let's see, so we get the monies, and we get Clan BROKVAR Archer. Skellige card. What does it do? What's it look like? Clan BROKVAR Archer over here. 6 strength. We have a bunch of them already, actually. 6 strength, range unit, nothing special about it. That means it is almost certainly not making the deck. And we could deliberately make a point of choosing a course of action here on the Skellige deck. I feel like I would like to make the Skellige deck a little bit more unique relative to the other decks that we have. Like, Monsters is the one that's best when it comes to muster, right? And so I think maybe we pass on muster for Skellige. Like, you know, total of 8 strength for muster's not that big of a deal. We definitely want to keep the Shield Maidens just for the Ceres combo. So we will at least be keeping some tight bonds for that reason. If we'll keep Camby, Young Berserker, absolutely, because we're going with the Martyrdom. Verna, just for the medic, makes sense. Other Berserker, totally. Now, the long ships. And the On-Crate Warrior. We could potentially dump both of them. Olaf is huge. Oh, let's get rid of Gaunter and Gaunter Darkness. I mean, that's a good muster. It's a decent muster, at least. So, that one you could make the case we could potentially continue to keep. But we're going to focus on the Berserkers if we can. Now, we'd love to get the... we saw... Not this person, but I think the person we played before this had Ermion, who was a hero who applied Martyrdom to the row in which you play him, which I think is range. That means you can put... You can't do it on the normal Berserker, but you can put it on the young Berserker. So that would be nice, just to get another source of it, because we only have one, I think. Yeah, we only have one. So building a deck that relies on having one card is not a good idea. So I don't think it's the best short-term deck by any means, but because it's unique, I think it's at least more fun, more interesting to do this for Skellige. And it does mean if we are relying heavily on that one card that we should make a point of reducing the other cards in our deck that would make it less likely for us to draw that card that we really want. So, I think let's keep the long ships and get rid of the uncrate warriors. We may need one more unit, though. Don't think we're allowed to do that? No. Okay, that puts us in a tough place. So we don't want one of the Type Bond units. That's just terrible. But we can remove some. In which case, like, Dandelion can be good. Can be very good, in fact, at times. Olgierd is also situationally good, but whereas Olaf is just a much better version of him. Sorry, Olgierd, but maybe you get removed here? Yeah. I think this is where we leave it, then. So, we trimmed down a lot of the cards. It's a much smaller deck now, which generally is a good thing, just making it more likely for you to draw the cards that you really want to draw, less likely to draw the filler cards. So that's good, although we did get rid of some mustard units that were pretty solid. But the key thing is that we are relying so heavily on the Martyrum card, and so we really want to get more of these, or the Ermion card that has functionally the same effect. Do we have more? Did we? I didn't think we did. We do! Ah, okay. Yeah, definitely then. Okay, that makes me much more comfortable with the deck now. So yeah, relying so heavily on a single card is just such a huge risk. So, okay, that's great. And if we could get Ermion soon, that'd also be great. But of course, we don't know who's going to give us that. So, fingers crossed we get that soon. Anything else we can loot in here? Oh, yes, there is. Between Worlds. In a plane not unlike our own, there once lived a ruler named Asgaric. When he was an old man, he fell ill. Felt he would soon die, so he summoned an evil spirit, Marbas, and made a deal with him. Asgaric would live until his son came of age and ascended to the throne. 10 years passed, Asgaric died, and next to his body, Marbas appeared and turned to the heir of the throne. Your father promised me something. Now you must pay his debt. And just what did my father receive from you in return? Asked the heir. And what do I owe? Your life, said Marbas, and cut the heir's throat with his claw. The boy had not yet died when Marbas opened a gate to another plane. Out of it came a mercenary army, with the evil spirit Bareth marching at its head. Oh! Okay. That was dark. It's a meteorite? I think generic book is not something you can actually read. And more wine, of course.
Mint, nettle, horsetail.
Okay, I think that's everything in here. And like we were saying before, at least theoretically, we may potentially end up coming back here on a future occasion, so I don't think we need to do absolutely everything here. This is probably enough for the time being, and then when we do come back, we'll make sure that we, do whatever else there is to do around here.